Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So what we do in this series is we take some of your favorite foods and turn them into some macro-friendly options. So today I got my awesome friend Jeremy.
What up?
AKA the master of nutrition, right? So, so we got an awesome bulgogi recipe. We got 43 grams of protein in here. We're looking to change the macros from this to this. Bam, right there. So let's get cooking, guys. So the ingredient list will be down in the description below, so make sure you get everything before you start off this recipe. So we're going to be starting off with 1 apple here, around 8 to 9 green onions, 1 kiwi to tenderize the meat. We got 1.5 pounds of IF round steak. There's way less fat in here, way more protein per serving. We got 3 to 4 tablespoons of that Korean garlic. We got 3 to 4 tablespoons of Monkfruit Sweetener, or around 45 grams of this stuff. So we got around 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce. Make sure you get a really high quality soy sauce here, because if you get the low quality stuff, then you're gonna get low quality bulgogi in this. So now we're gonna get cutting to our IF round steak here. What you wanna do is you wanna put this in the freezer for maybe around 30 minutes. And what that does is it really firms it up, making it way easier to cut these really nice thin pieces. So we're going to be using Jeremy's method here to kind of measure out the beef, right? What we had here was around 2 pounds of IF round steak. So in order to just make, 6 pounds or 6 ounces of IF round in each of the meals that we have, since we have 4 meals, we're just going to cut maybe 3/4 of it so that we have 1.5 pounds here, equaling out to 24 ounces perfectly. So now let's start off the marinade by cutting up 1 full apple into maybe quarter pieces, depending on how strong your blender is. Our blender is not that strong, so we want for maybe like quarter pieces here. So now we're going to be adding in 1 kiwi, just chop it in half and kind of get the meat out of there. So kiwis play a really important role in something like IF round that doesn't have too much fat. So when there's not that much fat in a slice of beef, it's not as tender as the other cuts such as like ribeye or New York steak. So kiwis have an enzyme in there. I forgot what it's called, but they have an enzyme in there that really breaks up the collagen in beef, which makes it way more tender. So using a whole kiwi in this is much needed for this recipe. So now that everything is prepped, let's start off with pouring in 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce. It's going to seem like a lot here, but remember, we got 1.5 pounds of IF round steak, so just put that in the blender and that's going to be really the base of the marinade. So now that the soy sauce is poured in, make sure to just put everything in there. We used half portions here, so make sure to double it right here. Our blender is kind of small, so we just kind of doubled it or divided it into 2 and made 2 different portions of the marinade. So we just blended it up on an outlet on the side. We couldn't really film it because Jeremy's little outlet thing wasn't working. So just make sure you get it all blended. Pretty simple there. Making sure it's like this really nice paste kind of thing. And then we're gonna add in 45 grams of Monkfruit Sweetener here. And just mix it in with a spoon. Like I said, just blend it. We couldn't blend it right now because the portable thing wasn't working, and we wanted to get this in front of the camera. But yeah, just mix it in with a spoon, and it's gonna look and smell amazing at this point, guys. So now that the marinade is already made, this part's really important here, guys. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you strain everything in there before you put the beef in. So what happens if we do that is that, little bits of apple and kiwi are going to stick to the beef. And what happens when we cook it in a pot or in a pan, it's going to burn really quickly. So you're going to have these little pieces of burnt kiwi, little pieces of burnt apple sticking to the beef. And, there's a lot of sugar in these things. So it's gonna like really burn before you get to cook the beef, right? So especially because we're going to be searing it on a really hot cast iron skillet, we want that color, we want that extreme heat, but if we do so with particles of little sugar bits, it's going to turn out bitter, and that's what we really don't want in this dish, guys. Now this part is pretty simple. You just want to put all the beef that we cut up into this bowl. Try to use a bigger bowl than this. We have a lot of beef here, but we try to just stuff it in. So you just want to put that in the fridge now for anywhere from 30 minutes to 1 hour, and that's going to be plenty of time for that marinade to really stick onto the beef, guys. So I found that 45 minutes is actually the perfect amount of time for 1.5 pounds. I have a whole other video about this for a smaller a la carte version of just like a single dish of this. I do eat this a lot on like a regular basis, but if I'm gonna meal prep it, it's a little different. So if you want to meal prep it, check out this video. If you want to go for like one kind of plate on its own, check out the other video. So what you want to do here in a cast iron skillet, you want to make sure this is ripping hot, and you want to make sure that there's a really nice color going on when you put this steak right in there. So it should make a loud really sizzle sound,
and then you should just get maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes on one side each, and that's all the cook time you need for this, right? So you don't want this to be really overcooked or well done. You want to make sure this is nice and medium rare, meaning, you know, just flip it maybe 1 or 2 minutes in, and that's pretty much it, guys. You know, once you're at that stage, you can add some green onions and you'll be good to go. So now it's time to plate the food. If you guys are curious on how we made the white rice and how we made the broccoli, feel free to check out our other meal prep videos in this series. We kind of go over how to make them more exciting and more fun, right? I want to talk about the vegetables here. Vegetables are super important when you meal prep. Obviously, they add a ton of fiber, a lot of micronutrients into the dish, but you know, it kills me every time anyone goes for just like kind of boiled broccoli with maybe salt and pepper in it. You know, vegetables are a great canvas for a lot of flavor, so you want to make sure that the broccoli or any kind of vegetable that you use in here is really taken care of. For us, we like to use like a honey, you know, garlic and, you know, pepper kind of marinade on them, and it makes this really awesome flavor that matches really well with Asian food. So if you want to learn more about that, make sure to check out the description, or make sure to check out the little card on the right hand corner. So if we're using Jeremy's method here about plating, we know we have 1.5 pounds of bulgogi here, and we have 4 meals, meaning that each of these will have 6 ounces of bulgogi in each one. So by the end of the day or end of the week, we'll know that we're hitting our macros, we're hitting the right proportion of beef in each of these meals, and it's going to really help you out with, you know, being consistent with your diet. So yeah, that is really it for the recipe, guys. We end up with maybe around 42 grams of protein, 48 carbs, and 26 grams of fat. And I know that might seem like a lot of fat there, but if you look in comparison to normal bulgogi, which uses ribeye or New York strip steak, the fat macros can go anywhere from 42 to 45 grams. So we actually cut the fat macros in half, which means we save a ton of calories per meal. And you know, there's still 42 grams of protein in here, so it's pretty macro friendly, guys. And you know, in this series, we like to take Asian foods and make them into macro-friendlier versions, and we also like to do meal prep for this. So if you guys have any suggestions about what kind of Asian foods you guys would like to see healthier and meal prepped, feel free to comment down below what you guys would like to see. And if you guys have tried it out, feel free to comment and let us know that you guys have. Also, like and subscribe if you like the content. We work really hard on this, and please share this with your friends if you found it interesting. So yeah, hope to see you guys in the next one.